Hello learners! Welcome to our National Achievement Test review. For today's review, we will focus on 21st century literature from the Philippines and the world. Number 1. How many languages are currently spoken in the Philippines? A. 170, B. 183, C. 180, and letter D. 120. The correct answer is 183. The Philippines is made up of 7,641 islands, which has given to rise a vast number of languages. The Philippines currently has 183 living languages, the vast majority of which are indigenous or regional. Number 2. What is the primary function of literature in the 21st century? Letter A. It teaches us about life by exposing us to the lives of different people through their stories and from these vicarious experiences. Letter B. To understand the different cultures of the country. Letter C. To preserve a medium of expression that demonstrates distinct regional identity. And letter D. To maintain the front in order of all of us to be truly equal and free as a people in one nation. The correct answer is letter A. It teaches us about life by exposing us to the lives of different people through their stories and from these vicarious experiences. Now let's move on to question number 3. She is the author of two prize-winning books of poetry on Hogback Mountain and Blameless Lives. A. Yan Martel, B. Elaine Magarel, C. Haruki Murakami, and D. Nick Joaquin. That's right. The correct answer is Elaine Magarel, letter B. Now, Elaine Magarel is the author of two full-length books of poems on Hogback Mountain on 1985 and Blameless Lives on 1991, and is one of the three contributors to a chapbook of poems on aging inventory. Now, Magarel was born in Clinton, Ontario, of immigrant Jewish parents and came of an age in a small town during World War II. Now, her father owned a ladies' ready-to-wear shop where the whole family helped out, and she was educated at the University of Drake University. Now let's move on to question number 4. Now number 4, it is a type of multimedia format that deals with the recording, reproducing, or broadcasting of moving visual images. A. Video, B. Slideshow presentation, C. Tag cloud, and D. Word cloud. Alright, so the correct answer is video. Now, a video is an electronic medium for the recording, copying, playback, broadcasting, and display of moving visual media. Alright, so let's move on to question number 5. Now, these are made up of stories about life, adventure, love, horror, and humor from which one can derive lessons about life. Letter A, epic. Letter B, myth. Letter C, folktale. And letter D, riddle. The correct answer is folktale. Now, folktales are traditional fictional stories, and traditional means that the stories have been transmitted from narrator to narrator sufficiently to have acquired from form and style that is characteristic of traditional oral narratives the world offer. Now, a folk tale can be defined as a short story, legend, or traditional tale originating among people or folk that parents have passed on to their children through speech over many years. Alright, so this time let's move on to question number 6. During this period of Philippine literature, stories traveled through word of mouth. Letter A, pre-colonial. Letter B, Spanish. Letter C, Japanese period. And letter D, American regime. Alright, so the correct answer for this item is the pre-colonial. Now, the roots of Philippine literature can be traced back to the pre-colonial period. Literature in this period is any literature which existed before the Spaniards entered the Philippine soil. Now, subject matters is about the common experience of the people in the village, like experiences in food gathering, caring for their children, nature, and etc. So it means that literature is transmitted orally. Alright, so this time let us proceed to item number 7. Now, in this period of Philippine literature, Filipino writers went in all forms of literature like news reporting, poetry, stories, plays, essays, and novels. A. Pre-colonial, B. Spanish colonization, C. Japanese occupation, and D. American regime. Alright, so the correct answer for this one is the American regime from 1898 to 1941. Now, many Filipinos started writing again, and the nationalism of the people remained undaunted. And Filipino writers went into all forms of literature like news reporting, short stories, plays, essays, novels, and their writings clearly depicted their love of the country and their longing for independence. Alright, so let's move on to question number 8. Now, this is a form of prose which talks about the origin of things. Letter A, epic. Letter B, myth. Letter C, folk tale. And letter D, legend. Alright, so the correct answer for this one is legend. Now, both myths and legends are stories of narratives that are passed from one generation to another. The main difference between myth and legends is that myth is a traditional narrative, particularly one concerning the early history of the people or explaining a natural or social phenomenon, and typically involving supernatural characters or events. Whereas legend is a traditional narrative, sometimes commonly regarded as historical but not authenticated. Alright, so let's move on to question number 9. It's literature which is said to have developed, and its oral tradition up to the current trends reflects the history of its people, the continents, feelings, and the minds of its population. Letter A, African literature. Letter B, American literature. And letter C, Asian literature. Lastly, letter D, European literature. Alright, so the correct answer is the African literature. Now, it's literature which is said to have developed from its oral tradition up to the current trends, and it also reflects the history of its people, its continents, its traditions, its belief system, its feelings, and the minds of its population. Let's move on to question number 10. Number 10, a folk narrative which presents misleading or puzzling question to be solved or guessed for entertainment purposes. Letter A, proverbs. letter B, fables, letter C, epic, and letter D, riddles. Okay, so the correct answer here is riddle. Now, riddle or bugtong is made up of one or more measured lines with rhymes and may consist of 4 to 12 syllables. Now, riddle showcase the Filipino wit, literary talent, and keen observation of the surroundings. It also involves reference to one or two images that symbolize the characteristics of a known object that is to be guessed. Now, there are mystifying statements or questions that are phrased or rhymed in such a way that their resolutions requires ingenuity. Now, these are presented as games and were considered forms of entertainment by bygone eras, so long before they used this riddle or bugtong as a form of entertainment. Talinhaga or metaphor is prevalent riddles because it reveals subtle comparisons between the similar objects. Thus, wit and observation are required for this mental exercise. Now, there are some names or reference. These are referred to as tigmo by Visayans and bugtong by Tagalogs. Paktakon or Pagtakon from the Ilonggos or Ilonggos, and Atututdon for the Vicolanos. Alright, so let's move on to item number 11. Now, she is particularly known in the Spanish-speaking world as the queen of the micro stories. Now, when we say micro stories, meaning short stories, like brief stories. Letter A, Isabel Allende. Letter B, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Letter C, Ana Marie Shua. And letter D, Hernet Rose Enes. Alright, so you're correct that the answer for this item is Ana Marie Shua. Now, she was born in 1951 in an Argentine writer. She is particularly well known for her work of microfiction. Now, Shua has published over 80 books in numerous genres, includes novels, short stories, microfiction, poetry, drama, children's literature, books of humor, and Jewish folklore, anthologies, film scripts, journalist articles, and essays. Now, she has received numerous national and international awards, including the Gamelin Fellowship, and is one of the Argentinian's premier living writers. She has been referred to the queen of the micro story in the world of Spanish literature. All right, so let's move on to question number 12. The period of Philippine literature where theater was introduced. Letter A, Spanish colonial period. Letter B, contemporary period. Letter C, pre-colonial period. And letter D, American colonial period. Alright, so the correct answer here is the Spanish colonial period. Now, when the Spaniards came, these indigenous dramas were discarded and were changed into mainly two categories, the comedy or comedia and the zarzuela or zarzuela. These were dramas that were used to capture the imaginations and hearts of the Filipinos whom the Spaniards have just colonized. Now, aside from providing entertainment to the people from the pueblos and also capturing their affection, these also serves as teaching tools for the religion that they brought with them, which is Christianity. All right, so let's proceed to number 13. Now, this is a dramatic performance to commemorate the passion of death of Jesus Christ. A. Panunuluyan. B. Sinakulo. C. Pag-aayuno. And letter D. Sarsuela. The correct answer is Sinakulo. Now, Sinaculo is a dramatic performance to commemorate the passion and death of Jesus Christ. There are two kinds, the cantada and the hablada. In the hablada, the lines are spoken in a more deliberate manner, showing the rhythm measure of each verse and rhyming in each stanza, and is more dignified in theme of the cantada, which is chanted like the Passion. Now, in cantada, you can accompany it with an instrument. Now, the sinaculo is written in octasyllabic verse with 8 verses to the stanza. The full-length versions take about 3 nights of staging. Performers come in costumes and with wigs, and performers are carefully chosen for the virtuous life. Now, one performs the role of Jesus Christ and others the role of Virgin Mary. Now, many famous Sinaculo players come from Tagalog regions, although there are also those from Ilocos, Pampanga, Bicol, and both Sibulanon and Hiligaynon. So let's proceed to item number 13. To yield is to preserve whole. What figure of speech is used in this line from Tao Te Ching? A. Oxymoron, B. Paradox, C. Metonymy, and letter D. Synecdoche. That's right. The correct answer is paradox. Now, paradox uses a phrase or statement that on surface seems contradictory but makes some kind of emotional sense. In the example, it seems contradictory that in giving up, one becomes complete. Let's move on to item number 14. Filial piety is a basic tenet of this school of thought. A. Taoism, B. Hinduism, C. Confucianism, and letter D. Buddhism. Alright, so the correct answer here is the letter C. So respect and devotion to parents is important in establishing harmonious relationship and is a fundamental concepts of Confucianism. Okay, so let's move on to item number 15. Literature is viewed as the expression of personality, of inner drives or neuroses. Letter A, psychological approach. Letter B, humanistic approach. Letter C, impressionistic approach. And letter D, sociological approach. Alright, so the correct answer for this item is psychological approach. Now, literature is viewed as the expression of personality, of inner drives and neuroses. It includes the psychology of the author, of the character, and even the psychology of creation. Item number 16. Choose the best summary based on the paragraph given. Some authorities say that the only true pyramids are the ones built in Egypt. These solid structures have a square or rectangular base, smooth sloping sides, and a pointed top. The Egyptian pyramids were designed as burial places of pharaohs. However, elsewhere in the world, pyramids-like structures were built. These pyramids were often used as temples or buildings for astronomical studies. Notable examples were the ziggurats of Mesopotamia and many others scattered around the world. A. The most famous true pyramids are the ones in Egypt. B. Pyramids were built in many parts of ancient world. Letter C. Although some authorities say the only true are Egyptian, pyramid-like structures were built in other places. And letter D. All of the above. The correct answer is letter C. Although some authorities say the only true are Egyptian pyramid-like structures were built in other places. Alright, so let's proceed to item number 17. Early Filipinos formed alliances. What is the main reason why they formed alliances? A. To ensure conformity. Letter B. To ensure sincerity and commitment of the chieftains. Letter C. For the trading system, peace and mutual protection. Letter D. For the process of influencing the barangay's beliefs. Alright, so the correct answer is letter C for trading system, peace, and mutual protection. So during the pre-colonial period, they formed alliances for this reason. Alright, so let's move on to item number 18. What is the purpose of education during the pre-colonial period? Letter A, to acquire observation and transmit knowledge. Letter B, for survival purposes. Letter C, for their source of living. And letter D, all of the above. The correct answer for that item is all of the above. It's because during the pre-colonial, the only form of education is to acquire observation, transmit knowledge for survival purposes, and for their source of living. Alright, so let's move on to item number 19. Literary works which Jose Rizal produced during the lifetime were The Social Cancer, Noli Me Tangere, and The Reign of Greed, El Filibusterismo. To what genre of literature does it belong? Letter A, oral literature. Letter B, written literature. Letter C, literature of all times. And letter D, visual literature. Alright, so the correct answer here is letter B, written literature. Now, written literature is the form of human expression through writing. That is to say, it is a literature which is expressed or conveyed through written forms. Unlike oral literature, the kind of literature began with the invention of writing. Alright, so let's move on to the last item, number 20. It is a product of particular culture that concretizes man's array of values, emotions, actions, and ideas. Letter A, oral literature. Letter B, written literature. Letter C, literature. And letter D, visual literature. Alright, so the correct answer here is letter D, visual literature. Now, visual literature are books, posters, websites, and other media that merge literary topics with an enhanced visual environment. Thank you for watching. I hope that you've learned a lot from our review today. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.